Success is an inside out game. So it's most of us with good intentions. We bust our tails working and getting up early to provide for the people that we love. But in the process, because the order is wrong, we end up stealing from them. We steal time, money, and memories from the people we love the most because we're putting the business first.
This episode is brought to you by my friend Silas Lagoy over at ForgeMark Wealth. If you're a high-income business owner or professional and feel like you're getting crushed by taxes, you're not alone. And more importantly, you're not stuck. ForgeMark Wealth specializes in advanced legal tax strategies and wealth planning designed to help you keep more of what you make, grow it efficiently, and actually build long-term freedom, not just income. If you're making serious money but don't have a real strategy behind it yet, I highly recommend connecting with Silas and his team. What's up, everybody? This episode is sponsored by ExitWise. If you're a business owner thinking about selling your company, whether that's now or years down the road, you need to know what your business is actually worth and how to maximize that exit. That's exactly what ExitWise does. They help you prepare, position, and ultimately sell your business by assembling a world-class team of M&A experts around you, guiding you from valuation all the way through closing. If you want to know what your business is really worth and how to increase that number before you sell, go check out exitwise.com and get ahead of it. This episode is brought to you by Blue Collar Business Advisors. If you're running an HVAC, plumbing, electrical, or landscaping, or any other type of home service business and wondering where all the money is going despite growing your revenue, you need to talk to Paul Maskill. Paul has scaled and sold multiple blue-collar businesses and now helps business owners improve cash flow, profitability, and financial clarity through outsourced CFO services. His clients gain a better understanding of their numbers, build predictable profits, and create a business that supports the life they actually want. One of the things I appreciate most about Paul is he's not just a finance guy. He's been in the trenches as an owner. He understands the challenges of running blue-collar businesses because he's done it himself. If you're doing a few $1 million a year in revenue and want to stop guessing at your numbers and start building real wealth, head over to bluecollaradvisors.com. That's thebluecollaradvisors.com and schedule a discovery call with Paul and his team. Blue Collar Business Advisors, helping blue-collar business owners build financially healthy companies and achieve permanent profitability. This episode is brought to you by 10X Nerds. If you're a business owner doing real revenue, there's a good chance you're overpaying in areas you haven't even looked at. Things like credit card processing, insurance, telecom, and more. 10X Nerds comes in, audits your expenses across 30 plus categories, and finds immediate savings. And here's the kicker. They only get paid if they save you money. It's a complete no-brainer. If you want to keep more of what you make, go check them out at 10xnerds.com. This episode is brought to you by Rakowski Law Firm. If you're a business owner or have built a level of wealth, but you don't have your estate plan dialed in, you're exposed. Rakowski Law Firm helps families and business owners protect their assets, avoid probate, and make sure everything transfers exactly how it should. This isn't just paperwork, it's a real strategy to protect your legacy. If you haven't looked at your plan in a while or don't have one, go to rakowskilawfirm.com. What is up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Builder's Bible and the Big Hitters podcast. I'm lumping my friend Tom Reber into this because he is a serial guy. He's a coach. He owns a painting company. He's a partner in multiple other enterprises, and I can tell he's just an all-around badass. So I'm excited to pick his brain. I love, first and foremost, what sticks out to me is just the background and the hat. You're a fighter. And I think that word has taken new meaning to me here in the last couple of years. But man, tell us a bit of your story. Tell us, how you got started and where you're kind of at today.
Yeah, well, first, appreciate you having me. It's good to be here. We just found out we're neighbors. We're about an hour away from each other here in California.
I know. What are the chances? Yeah,
it's crazy. I'm from outside of Chicago. Grew up there. Grew up in a family of tradesmen. My dad was a tile guy. My uncle was a painter. I went to work for my uncle because he didn't shrink over the years. My dad was hunched over and had ugly knees being a tile guy. And my uncle was still tall. And I needed all the help I can get because I'm only 5'10". And so I went to work for my uncle and in and out of the Marine Corps. And I got out of the Corps. I went back to work for my uncle. And then one day I woke up, decided I was going to do my own thing, started my own painting business there. Ran that for about a decade, sold that in 2012. Somebody tapped me on the shoulder to ask him how to build a business and make some money. And So I spoke at some event. Next thing you know, I'm coaching. Next thing you know, we got this podcast called The Contractor Fight and a big YouTube channel. And we've helped, I think officially we've had over 8,000 clients come through our program in the Contractor Fight. And, I still own a painting company here in Colorado Springs called Simplify Painting. I run that extremely part-time, probably 4 to 8 hours a week. I do things on the business, and I've got a great team. Got a company called We Live Unafraid, and we live unafraid.com, where actually we do apparel and stuff like that. And it's I'm a partner, like you said, in a few other different companies, GC companies, landscape companies, this and that. Just trying to, bring my number one thing is to have an impact, man. And
Yeah.
so I'm a coach at heart. I was a high school football coach for 17 years in between all this and during a lot of it. Nothing fires me up more than helping other people win. And you go to bed every night feeling like you're doing something that matters. And so that's the deal. I have a great wife and 5 kids, and we're empty nesters, and life's good, man. So it's good to be here. I'm excited to just share anything I can to help your peeps.
So out of curiosity, tell us about the program. So over close to 8,000 students, or you said roughly 8,000 students that have come through. What are the kind of transformations that you help people do? Is it systems? Is it sales? Is it a little bit of everything?
Yeah, it's funny. Our wheelhouse, I'll give it to you in a nutshell. Our wheelhouse is helping people put points on the board. Like we help you score points in your business, meaning profit. Yeah, we have systems and we have coaches that coach on things like that, but our real wheelhouse comes down to 2 things. It's your how you're showing up between your ears and your identity. That's why I named the company The Contractor Fight. It's the fight between your ears. And so the biggest transformation is who you need to become to be more successful. And that's where we start with everything. Our methodology, if you want to call it that, is success is an inside out game. So it's most of us with good intentions. We bust our tails working and getting up early to provide for the people that we love. But in the process, because the order is wrong, we end up stealing from them. We steal time, money, and memories from the people we love the most because we're putting the business first. And that's noble. And I've done it. I've made millions and I've been bankrupt and I've had it back and everything in between. So I've done it right and I've done it wrong. And so we start with everybody. It's strong you, strong home, strong business in that order, inside out. So strong you is, what are your standards? What are your non-negotiables? Are you taking care of yourself? You getting sleep? Are you exercising? You know this, how many business owners start a business and they get fat in a couple of years because they stop going to the gym, or they're miserable because they gave up fishing because all they do is work, or, they're not sleeping, they're not eating right, so you got to take care of yourself, and then from there, it's a strong home. What does your marriage look like? Are you doing date nights? Are you home when you say you're going to be home? Are you all in when you're there? Or are you the guy at the kids' game like I was for so many years, where I was the dad who was on the phone at my kid's ball game, way off in the distance, right? Watching, oh, my kid's up, hold on, and answering texts and just not being where my feet are. What I found is who I am and what's going on at home goes with me to work. Right. And you ever have like a little scuffle with your significant other, right? And you just something's off. You're not popping on all cylinders or whatever. And you're just not the same. You're not the same in your sales calls. You're not the same as a leader. There's that.
We had one last night. If you want to work through with me,
yeah.
We literally had one last night. Yeah.
And so that's the first thing we do is we teach you how to really nail that identity. And, if anyone's followed the fight or listened to my show, I mean, you'll hear years and years and years of this. So I won't beat it up too much, and then the next big thing is we teach you how to sell at a profit. I personally believe, that every single problem you have in your business, the root of the problem is not enough profitable sales. So there's a big thing going on in our free Facebook group right now. I asked a question. I said, what's one problem you still haven't solved yet? It's a free group, 18, 20,000 people in it, whatever. And overwhelmingly, like 80% of the people are like hiring, can't find people, can't do this, can't do that. Nobody wants to work, blah, blah, blah. I know that's a big pain point in the trades. There are multiple. We're doing we do a monthly donation based workshop, by the way, and I'm pitching it here. I'm not trying to plug like anything else, but it's June 11th. If this comes out by then, all the money, it's a minimum donation of $27, and then whatever you want to give after that is cool. All the money, every dime goes to the Wounded Warrior Project. So, when we do these workshops each month, we call them fight nights. All the money goes to that. So, I'm putting that together right now because it's happening in about 2 weeks from the day we're recording this. And I'm just reflecting, like the reason that the trades are struggling so much with skilled help and labor and reliable people and this and that. I believe, number one, I'm 56, and ever since I can remember, people were saying, go to college, don't go to the trades. The trades are a good fallback and all this other bullshit, right? So number one, you got the messaging going on there. They took shop classes away, all those different things. And Mike Rowe will tell you all this, right? So anyway, the other big thing, I believe, is that the examples that were set by the people in our lives that were in the trades weren't always very good. Like, I love my dad to death. He's passed away 15 years ago, 14 years ago now, whatever it is. He's a tile guy. He worked pavement and everything else, busted his back like for forever, but he had nothing to show for it. So I was watching him and other people in my life that were in the trades, that ran construction businesses, painting businesses, whatever. They were tired, they were dirty, and they never had enough money. And they weren't going on vacations with their families. And very few of them, I can think of one guy that was a plumber that I knew growing up, that was like the only successful contractor like I ever really saw. And so I think that example, the root of that example of how many, those of you listening, how many people do you know that have been in the trades for 2, 3, 4, 5 decades, and they have no shot at retiring? They have no savings. What do they have to show for it? They got a broken back. They're great people. I'm not ripping on them as people, but the business model is broken.
Yeah.
And the business model, it starts with selling at the right margins. And because when you have the right margins, number one, I'm talking about solving the hiring issue here, right? You'll live an attractive life that other people are going to want to have.
Yeah.
Then we get the internet era and social media and influencers and stuff. So kids growing up are looking at their relatives or friends or whatever it is that are in the trades, are going, they're tired, broke, and dirty all the time. That's a life I don't want. And then they look on social media and here's some 22-year-old bringing in 10 grand a month, because he's got an email list and a video camera, right? And so that's sexy. And so I think there's a lot of different things. And then the messagings for so many years of, don't go into the trades. It's just a good fallback option or whatever. When you make enough money in sales, and guys, when I say make enough money, I'm talking a minimum of a 50% gross profit margin. All right. So our painting company, Simplify Painting, if our software and the way we do our work and our bids and whatever, if it's going to cost $5,000 in labor and material, we charge at least $10,000 or more to the client 100% of the time. We do not take on a job that's less than a 50% gross profit ever. I also, because there's GCs that sub all their work out and stuff listening to this, this applies to you as well. I have numerous people in our sales program that are doing $5 million a year at a 50% gross profit as general contractors with a whole subcontractor model, and their net profit's like 32, 33%. Okay. So this can be done. So get the head trash out of there and that negative BS self-talk that you're struggling with right now. Cause a lot of you guys listen to this, they're calling BS on it. Okay. And I'm telling you, it's not, it's just back to the identity, right? And who do you need to become? So when you have the margin, you can reinvest, you could pay more. This thread I looked at last night where these guys were talking about the hiring issue. One guy's like, yeah, I keep losing people to these other competitors because they offer more benefits and this, that, and the other thing. Well, guys, that's a sales issue. That's a profit margin issue,
Yeah.
right? And so when you have enough profit margin, you can recruit, you can retain, you can market your business, because winners, we call them FWs in our world. Hashtag FW for us, pardon the French, is fucking winners. That's what we call A players in the contractor fight, or FWs. And FWs are not going to go work for somebody that doesn't give them a future where they can grow and get better, and their life is going to be better as a result of working there. So if you don't have a full pipeline, that's because if you're probably, word of mouth is great. We love it, but you're not going to scale your business on word of mouth alone. You're not going to build a great team of people on word of mouth alone. You have to have a marketing system in place that generates qualified leads that turn into profitable sales. Well, that only happens if you have margin to reinvest into the marketing. So I could go on for days, but every problem you have in your business, 100% comes back to, first, you as a leader, and number two, profitable sales.
Bro, I'm feeling convicted about a deal. I'm feeling convicted about a deal I just did for my AI business. I feel like the guy shook me down on an AI receptionist, and I'm like, I'm doing it. But now I'm like, dang, I need to go back to this guy and be like, look, dude, this is, I don't know. How do you help people correct that and like move forward with that type of sales process?
What, with the head trash around charging appropriately? Is that what you're
Yeah,
talking
I
about?
don't know. Like, yeah, I mean, like once you start agreeing to deals like that, I know that from a couple businesses I've had, it's like it's hard to get out of those types of, if it becomes like a hamster wheel, you know? And then like people will come to you and be like, well, you gave my friend this deal, you know, so why can't you do that deal for me? So
Yeah.
snapping out of it's tough.
Yeah. When I started my first painting company 25, 30 years ago, whatever, it wasn't 30 years, it was 2002, I think it was. So what's that, 24 years ago? I was the cheap guy, not intentionally. I call them, what do I call it? Accidental, what do I call this? I have a word for it. I always talk about it on the show. Accidental lowballer. We'll just call it that for now. I don't think when somebody underbids you, I don't think they consciously are like, I'm going to be the low guy and undercut everybody. I think very few people actually do that in the trades. I think it's more of an ignorance issue. They just don't know what it costs to run their business for a day. They don't understand gross profit margin and markup and all that stuff. They don't understand overhead and just in general what it really costs to be in business. And then they, self-included here, we start pricing our work. And I did this in the early days, to your point. I underpriced, and then all the people that I sold those jobs to told their friends about it, right? So then I'm attracting more people that expect low prices. So that's a problem. So because we all hang out with people like us. So if you're selling at low margins right now and you're getting referrals, those are probably low margin referrals. But anyway, the problem is we, as contractors, we're great at the trade, but when it comes to pricing and running our business and stuff, we sadly price our work based on the going rate. You'll see that in Facebook groups, right? What's the going rate for 100 feet of fence or whatever the heck it is, right? Or what's the going rate to paint this? That is the worst question you can ask. And here's why. 90% plus, I've been doing this a long time, worked with a lot of contractors in every trade. 90% plus of every single contractor does not know their numbers. So why in the world would we price our work based on the going rate when most contractors don't have a retirement, can't offer benefits, don't even make 100 grand a year themselves, and on and on and on and on. Okay. So you have to mind your business, mind your numbers. And so, and that's what we really help people with. Back to your point of how do you help people with this? It's looking at the evidence and just going, do you want to be part of the shit show in the trades, or do you want to be one of the elites in the trades? And I don't mean that in a snobby way, but disciplined contractors win, right? You want to, I don't want to roll around in the mud, but in order to charge premium prices, you have to have premium people, premium training, premium experiences, premium communication. So it all comes back to your personal discipline. And to be honest, I'm a Marine Corps veteran. This, what we do and what we train people on is a lot like the Marine Corps. It's not cut out for everyone. Not everyone's cut out for it. Not everyone, wants to be put in the work to command those higher margins, because
Yeah.
there's other people, like somebody asked me the other day, they're like, well, isn't it unethical? Aren't you ripping people off if you're charging these margins? You're only ripping somebody off if you're not delivering the value promised at the price agreed upon with you and the client.
Yeah.
Then it's unethical. Then you're
Yeah.
ripping them off.
Yeah.
I mean, we're doing a project right now, our painting company here. It started out as a $39,000 interior repaint, and we're doing upsells and cabinets and this. We're going to be north of $100,000 on this project at a 55-60% gross profit. But we're knocking it out of the park with the experience, the communication, the cleanliness, we're rolling out the red carpet for these people. Our team is showing up, dialed in, locked in. We honor the commitments. That's worth something. And there are plenty of people out there, guys, that will gladly pay for that. But the problem is you're not attracting them because you're not selling at a high enough margin right now. A lot of you think you just need more leads. If you think you need more leads, think of it this way, and I won't say it because I'll get sued, but we all know those third-party lead gen sites that you pay, and then they give the lead to 4 or 5 other contractors.
I don't know anything about those. You want to name some names?
So you could get 100 of those leads. Half are going to be scams. Half are going to be tire kickers, or a quarter. So now the last 20, 25% are probably they're just not a good fit. I mean, if we get 100 leads from one of those lead gen sites, maybe 2, 3, 5 people at most are qualified to be our customer. So it's not about just getting more leads. It's about attracting the right people. And you can't attract the right people consistently at scale if you don't have the margin to do it.
That's good. Are most of the people in your community, is there any sort of trend in terms of the industries or niche they're in, or are they all over the map?
Yeah, they're about, call it 50-ish% GC remodelers, and then the rest. And I would say what we really don't have a lot of is like service-based HVAC and plumbing. That's just, we're kind of more for the project-based guy. Now our sales program, it's called the Command, and our whole system's called Command Your Sales. It applies to any trade, but I just think because of reputation and just what we've built through the years, we tend to attract more of those project-based contractors, if that makes sense, instead of service-based. Although we have a handful of service-based, but yeah.
What's going really well in your business right now, Tom? And what are some challenges you guys are facing? Could be for any or all, one of your businesses.
What's going well, I'll just talk to the contractor fight. I could talk to that in our painting company. Our team is great. We have amazing coaches and people in both companies, and, sales and estimators and subs and this and that. So the people are great. No bullshit. Right now we've had probably the biggest challenge we've had in the contractor fight over the last year is we're redoing our messaging. We're a business just like any other company is. And if you don't dial your messaging in right, and really nail down your ideal client avatar and some of those things, you'll struggle. And so we've been a little flat in the last year. And I traced it back to that first domino, if you want to call it, is we're fixing a lot of our messaging right now. And here's why. We had a run of years where I'm certainly not the first coach that's coached contractors and done sales training and stuff, but I think we were one of the first that really came out hard with a podcast and the YouTube channel. And so in a lot of ways, and this is what other people will say when I'm at events and stuff, like, oh, it's the OG or whatever, right? But I think that's in the modern era, the last decade or so. Again, there's not the first, and there's amazing ones out there. Over the years, there's probably about I just spoke at an event not too long ago, about 1,200 people, 1,500 contractors, vendors and stuff. Half the vendors in the coaching space were guys I trained that came through my program. So I just think, like anything, the more somebody grows and gets better and they elevate in their life and now they want to have more of an impact or whatever, they go off and start their own company or whatever. So I think the coaching space in general has gotten really crowded and noisy. Anyone listening to this, you probably open up your phone and you see this program and this program and this event and blah, blah, blah. And so I think that's in the earlier days, we didn't have to be as dialed in, if that makes sense, because it was less noisy. And so this last year, we're on the warpath. So that, it's not like catastrophic, but it's just not where I want it to be. And
Yeah.
so that's what's gotten a lot of my attention as far as things that are not going the way I need them to go.
Yeah, I hear you.
Yeah.
Let's talk about one thing that I love about the blue collar space. I'm big on buying back your time and your energy and like automating as much of your business as possible. I think that AI is coming into the blue collar space. Interesting that it depends on who you talk to. Some are really like either believe it's the spawn of Satan and some are really embracing it. And then there's also a trend of outsourced labor. So I'm a huge fan of using VAs overseas. Certain niches tend to use them more than others. I'm curious to hear your thoughts on both of those things and how they're affecting the trades and blue collar space.
Yeah. It's funny you bring up the overseas thing. So we have a VA in our painting company. If she were based in the United States with her skill set and her professionalism and attention to detail and everything she brings, she would easily command 80 to 100 grand a year.
Easy. Yeah.
And we're at a fraction of that for her. And part of you is like, and this is my own thinking, just to be, again, not when I talk, it's an OBS zone. So I'll tell you what I probably overshare sometimes, but like there was a part of me feeling guilty about it. But then I'm like, well, she lives in her world and I live in mine, and she's agreed to do this. And she's already gotten a raise, and in the first 30 days we gave her a raise, and we're giving her another one here soon, and we'll continue to do that. And I have no problem paying her a ton more, twice of what she's making right now. I'm just not going to do it prematurely. So I think those are the rules of the world now, because the world is so opened up. What we're paying her is giving her an amazing life where she lives. And so we're all winning. As far as AI, and automations and stuff. Listen, you said, some people are, this is great, and some it's like the devil. It's a chance it's both. It's probably depending on how you use it. And I will say that if you're not using technology and AI in some way, shape, or form as a contractor, you're going to get left behind. I mean, just something as simple as how fast you can respond to a lead coming in. We use a CRM for our painting company called Drip Jobs. And their big thing is, and they got AI stuff in there and stuff, but it's automations. We have a lead that hits our inbox or calls or whatever it is we don't answer. It automatically is in touch with the people. Right. And we're scheduling an appointment because, I mean, I was moving a daughter into Texas A&M to be with her sister just last week, one of our kids. And we drove down there, and she needed pest control at the duplex we got her, and so I called a company. It went to voicemail. Do you think I left a voicemail?
Heck no.
No, most people don't leave a voicemail. I called the next company. The first one that answered the phone got my business.
Yeah.
The first one. Okay. So somebody fills out a form on your website at 11 o'clock on a Sunday night, and you don't call them back till Monday afternoon or Tuesday. Time kills deals. Where they fill it out on our website, they're going to get, an automation. So, and all of our phones ding, and I get there's after hours and stuff like that, but you get the point. So I just think you'll be left behind. I think, everyone and their brother right now that owns a CRM or a software company in the trades is incorporating AI into it. So it's not going away. And I think, I think it also goes back to, what are your goals as a contractor? Some people don't really want to scale a business. They don't want to have, and that's totally cool. I'm not judging that, but for the majority that go, I want to grow and make more money and get off the tools someday and actually have something to show for what I've been doing and have a business that's actually worth having, build a business that's worth having, you're going to have to embrace some of this stuff, because it's just the reality. It's like when the car came out, right? Or, you look at the yellow pages and then the internet came out. There's always going to be change. And again, I just keep coming back to speed to lead and that whole time kills deals thing, man.
Yeah.
And how much can you carry around in your head, right? And let me, sorry to cut you off, but like there's one reason to own a business. There's one A and one B, but there's one reason. 1A is to meet a need. 1B is to make money. Okay. And we have a rule in the fight: don't F with the money. That is the number one rule we have. Don't mess with the money. And so if I can outsource something to overseas, or I can do something with AI that allows me to have more margin. And this is, by the way, this is not me being an ogre. Okay. This is me being a good businessman.
Yeah.
I'm making decisions all the time. I'm sure you have as well. I mean, if I have to let somebody go or whatever it is, I like agonize over it. I'm in tears about it. I hate it because I love people. Okay. But it's also a responsibility of a business owner to run the business at the highest profit possible so that you can serve at a higher level.
Yeah.
And sometimes that means, some jobs might not get to stay. And so that's just one of the unfortunate realities of the world that we live in. But I think you need to embrace it.
Amen. I mean, I don't know why I have to convince people of that, but I just think about something simple like an AI receptionist. You mentioned it, but like, look, do you really want to pick up the call at 3 a.m.? So if you really want a human being to take the call, then get a VA in the Philippines or whatever,
Totally.
and you can get one with perfect English. Or like the ones that are really taking over the home service space are Avoca and Lace are the two AI receptionists. Dude, they sound incredible. You would not know. You would not know.
So like, here's the thing. We do not have an AI answering our phone for our painting company right now.
Yeah.
And couple reasons. It's only a year and a half old, and most of our leads and stuff come through online and web forms and social media and things like that. We actually get very few phone calls because of the way we funnel people. My hesitation, so it's funny in the same sense. I'm going, you need to embrace it. And then in my own business, I'm going, I don't know about an AI answering the phone, because I think it depends on the AI. Like if you're familiar with a disc profile, I'm a high D. Like I want shit done right now, right? I don't want chit chat. So if I'm calling a company to schedule an appointment, I would be fine if it's like, hey, this is ABC Construction's AI agent. If you want to schedule an estimate, click 1. Boom. All right. Hey, here's dates and times available, or what's the preferred date that you would like? I'd be done in a minute. I'd be totally cool with that. So I think, I'd be interested in learning more about those two platforms you said, because the ones I've checked out and the ones I've heard, I didn't like.
Yeah.
So
I'm here for it. Yeah. So I started the AI business. It's called Freedom AI because I believe AI is a tool to create freedom. And so my first business literally led me to a mental breakdown because I did it all wrong. And so on the other side of that, I'm like, I want to help the guy that's stuck doing estimates and stuck in his truck like this. I want to fight for that guy. So yeah, man, I'd love to talk more about that. What's one thing, Tom, that we have not talked about? You get fired up about a lot of stuff. What's one thing we haven't talked about?
We scraped on it a little bit with the strong home, strong you, strong home, strong business. But I had an epiphany like really 6 or 8 months ago where like, I think I knew this, but it came to me in a way that it's just more direct, that I just want to pose as a question to people, or statement with a question. Is your business giving you more life than it's sucking out of you? And what I mean is, if you're running your business properly, the longer you're in business, the better every area of your life should be getting. Your finances should be growing. Even if your net worth goes up $100 a year, it's in the right direction. Sadly, most contractors, it's the debt that's climbing every year. The chaos is going down each year because the order in the business is going up, right? If you're running it right. Your health should be getting better. You talked about buy back your time, right? Because you'd be offloading things, you'd be taking care of yourself and working out and stuff. So I just kind of pose that to everybody. Like, if your business is not truly like making your marriage better, your parenting better, your financial situation better, on and on and on, your health and whatever, then I think you really got to check yourself and go, am I really building something that's worth having? And if not, then you got to do something about it if you're going to do this, because there's too much at stake, too much stress, too much financial and mental downside to screw it up. And I've been there. I've been on the other end of that. And so that's just kind of what I'd like to drop in everyone's consciousness just to mull over and really think on.
It's so great, man. One of the things oh, sorry.
Go.
Did you want to? Okay. One of the things I love about the blue collar space is their openness and willingness to share. There's
Mhm.
tons of masterminds. You got coaching groups, private Facebook groups, school communities, you name it. And when I was a financial advisor, like I always had that, like there's nothing new under the sun. And
Mhm.
so there's someone out there doing it, someone who's running parallel to you, who has achieved that freedom. And it's Tommy Mello always says, just ASK, ask. I love that. It's just such a simple, like, if you don't know something, just ASK.
Yeah,
And
he shared that. We had him as one of our speakers at one of our big events in Denver back in 2024, I think was the last one we did. We had this thing there, and Tommy and I have been on each other's shows, and he's a good dude, and he gets it. Like, and if you look at him, he'll tell you as well. I don't know if you, like, sorry to hijack your thought, but like, I've seen Tommy. I had him on my show when he was at like 30 million a year. Now he's at like 300 million, right? And there was a period where if you see him, go back and look at some of his pictures, you could tell he was getting pudgy. His face was fat. He wasn't taking care of himself. And in the
mm,
last couple of years, he's really gone to town taking care of his machine, like him, right? And what's funny is with that, his business has exploded. So back to, guys, success leaves clues, right? When you're like, if you're out of shape and low energy and stuff, that is affecting your sales. That's affecting your energy and the frequency and the vibration and all that woo-woo stuff, right? But that stuff matters. Like, people buy certainty and confidence. And I don't know about you, man, Andrew, but when I'm not at my best, like physically and mentally and taking care of just me, I totally can see the results in my business. Right. So, anyway, just, I keep hijacking you.
well,
So go ahead.
to bookend your Tommy thought, when he came on my podcast, he had hired a chauffeur and a private chef because Dan Martell
Mhm.
coaches him on how to buy back his time. And so, it's interesting to me. He's like the guy in the space, but I'm just a fan of the blue collar space, man. I think to your point, like this is such a golden ticket right now. PE is rushing into this space like
Mhm.
crazy. There is an opportunity to create generational wealth beyond belief. And when I talk to somebody and just can kind of tell they're stuck, it just like, I'm like, I want to, let's fight for this guy. Like you said, contractor fight. I love that.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, and you mentioned, for those that have any desire to want to sell their business someday, if you're doing more than 20% of your sales, that's a red flag to somebody who wants to buy your company, just so you guys know.
hmm,
Okay. So, um, what I said earlier, everything comes back to profitable sales, right? So I've seen it so many times. Like, I have a really good, um, I'll just call the person a friend right now, because very good friend. Been in his industry and his trade for over 40 years and wants to get out and retire. He does not have a saleable business. There's no hope because he does everything, right? He, to this day, for 40 something years, he's done all the sales. And it's sad because he's knocking on the door 70 years old, and he'll never retire because his income will stop. So, um, I say that, guys, to go, like, yes, you can take pride in being a crafts person, right? Being a craftsman and what you're building there, but let's give a little, maybe give 25% or 30% of that effort to being a craftsman, to being a craftsman of your business and your business model, right? Be a business craftsman, business building craftsman, not just a
yeah.
project craft person.
Hmm,
And part of that is building a business like that can sell when you're not there, that revenue
yeah.
still comes in. You could step away. And that's how, I mean, I built this Simplify Painting. Like I said, I work very few hours a week on it. I built it from the get-go to basically prove the point that you can do this without having to have your fingers in everything. It's kind of like the ultimate case study that I'm doing is my own business. I'm not taking any of my money from my other things and putting into this company. It's 100% self-funded. Every dime of profit goes back into the people and the branding and all those other things and building the sales team. And I was just gone for 2 weeks. I came back and, we sold in 2 weeks, another $70,000 without me being here. You guys, if you don't have that, what are you really building? And again,
Yeah.
I want to balance this with, I understand some of you are like, you have a life situation where maybe you got an inheritance and you don't have to build something that's worth something. Maybe your spouse works and does great and puts money away for retirement. And this is just you just do it because you like it. I don't judge that, but I'm just saying for the majority, they're going, I need this to work so I can have something to show for it. You got to get out of your own way and really commit to building the business, not just the projects. And the good news you've brought up a few times, what you love about the blue collar space. One of the things I love about it, guys, is a 2, 3, 5% change in something in your business can mean tens of thousands of dollars a month in your pocket, because our projects are bigger. You're not selling hot dogs or personal training sessions for $75, right?
Yeah.
You're selling $15, $30, $100,000 projects.
Yeah.
You could move the needle incredibly fast. We'll have people that come in doing, I'm thinking of one dude, he was doing $500,000 a year at a 22% gross profit, which is pathetic. And within 12 months, he was doing 2.5 at a 45%. Okay. And it wasn't getting more leads. It was changing his identity and changing how he sold. And we could go on for days and talk about stories like that, but it doesn't take much if you're committed.
Amen. Tom, this has been such a great podcast episode. Where can people learn more about you if they want to learn more?
Yeah, head to the contractorfight.com. That's, the overall thing, or anywhere online with that. And then, if you're interested in the sales training thing, it's the contractorfight.com/command. And
well, Tom,
all real simple. So
thank you for coming on the show, man. I feel like you kicked my ass as I was listening. And I needed that. So thank you so much. And then y'all go check it out. Actually, I'm going to join this Facebook group because I live in those things. So thank you so much. Don't go anywhere because I want to keep talking though. Thanks for coming on the show.
You got it, brother. Thanks again for having me, man.